It's time for another Most Wanted 2 video. Welcome back, it's time again, Most Wanted 2. Now I've made 2 videos on this topic. You can check them both out. If you haven't seen those videos, you may want to do so, but we got some more gameplay today. Obscure Gamers released some more gameplay and we're going to show it in this video, but I want to talk about the storyline. Now, obviously storyline in Need for Speed Most Wanted, Need for Speed Carbon. Carbon was the sequel of Most Wanted. This Most Wanted game, where does it place on the timeline? A lot of people have been confused about that because Most Wanted 2, why would that make sense? Because that's Carbon, and then Pro Street fits in there somewhere, and all this stuff, there's so many like conflicting storylines that people have in their heads as to what the storyline of Need for Speed is around that era. Story of Most Wanted 2 takes place in the very future, but it has the same characters as the original Most Wanted, but carried on as if it was after Carbon, or even just after Most Wanted, as if Carbon didn't exist. I wanted to show you the intro, the menus, that sort of thing. You'll see some screens that we actually saw previously, and a lot of reused stuff. It's quite interesting, actually. This is a logo of what looks like it was possibly going to be the Most Wanted 2 logo. One of, I mean, throughout development, they're always changing the logos to see what they can fit. And this screenshot here, this background, you may remember it from the first video we made, and this image was picked up in some files. Well, they actually used that for the demo intro, and that's where it came from.
Okay, let's see how you can handle the heat I've brought down on you. Don't try to escape. I've activated the low jack that Mia kindly put on your car to keep tabs on you. When it's on, the police can find you wherever you go. Stay ahead of the cops until I call time, and I might just start believing what people said about you.
I should be a voice actor. They should have hired me. Maybe that's why they didn't do the game, because they thought, oh, we ain't got a voice actor. I could have done it for you. I would have been great. Don't really know much about who the kidnapper is, but maybe he's kidnapped the player. So the storyline is the player was kidnapped and you need to escape the kidnap. I don't know how it works, honestly. Could it have taken place after Undercover? Could you got kidnapped? I don't know. I'm just going to assume that, ignoring all the other Need for Speeds, it's after Most Wanted, and that's the only stuff I'm looking at. But this almost feels like this is supposed to be the ROG character, or Rog, or whatever you want to say. He's supposed to basically be the guide through the game. He's going to be the evil guy, but he's also the guide. So kind of a little bit of twist on that, rather than just having a good guy and a bad guy. He's kind of a good guy, the lead guy, but he's also a bad guy, and maybe at the end he'll be, oh, I'm actually good. Sounds like they were trying to do something character development-wise, and I don't think Criterion's ever done really character development other than Craig Sullivan.
Turn hut! My name is Sergeant Sullivan, and I'm here to show you maggots drifting!
This gameplay is pretty much as you would have seen already. You would have seen the gameplay before. It's a little bit different. It starts a little bit differently, has a little bit more cutscene-y thing at the beginning, and we jump right into the gameplay. Now, again, Obscure Gamers provided this build. I'm not playing it. I'm just watching it because unfortunately I can't play it. I would kill someone to play it. Now, unfortunately, it still does have the dropping of the spike thing. I don't know if this was a temporary measure to just have some way to take down the police other than ramming them, for example, or I don't know if it was just there because they wanted it to be there. They wanted weapons. I don't know, but personally, I don't like the weapons so much. But I would have liked the story in general, and this gives us a little idea of what the story would have been about after this mission. So this again, what I would like to say is something that's just kind of being properly introduced in Need for Speed Payback is story missions. Now, in the beginning of Most Wanted, there were races. There wasn't any story missions. They were all races at the beginning of Most Wanted. In Carbon, I don't think there was any story missions. They were all kind of races, right? And they were twisted a little bit to add a bit of story in it sometimes. Well, this game seems to be a mission. This is a mission. This is a story mission. There's no, oh, this is a race. I'm racing you. You're a racer, man. I'm gonna beat you, and that's it. It's literally jump. I've got the police on you. The police can't lose you. It's try and survive as long as you can, brother. And this is the result. It's you just being chased by the police. It's a mission rather than, oh, look at that. That's a takedown. That should have been all there was. Takedowns like that. That was magical. But yet again, back to this, the gameplay, the handling of this, other than a few glitches here and there, it looked a million times better than the game that we actually got, because it wasn't those stupid drifting physics. It very much reminds me of the Undercover and the Need for Speed World handling. Very close to those two. which a million times better than what we actually got. Another question that a few people had is, why is it this M3? Why is it not the other M3? And honestly, there isn't much we can go off of. There isn't much story in there that we've got available to play around with and try and figure out. But the only thing we do have is that it's an M3. It's the BMW M3 of that time. 2012 is this is the latest M3, so maybe they were going to do what they did in Need for Speed The Run, in where they had this M3 with a design, a bit of a body kit on there, and make this the most wanted car, because everybody loved the M3, right? So Criterion would be like, fan service, we wanna have the beautiful M3 in there, but the new version of it, because in Most Wanted 05, that M3 was the M3 that was out, you know? It makes sense to do that. Personally, I would have downright preferred the original M3 to maybe play some kind of little, you know, vision, be in there in some way. And maybe it was going to be because it was in the final game. It was then changed to DLC afterwards. But let's not talk about that. The map as well, you can tell, is pretty much the same. It seems like there's quite a few more roads on it. One thing someone pointed out in the comments of the Obscure Gamers videos is that the wipers actually work as well. They were going like full in with this Need for Speed game. It was pretty impressive. But after a bit of driving, after a bit of police action that we've already kind of seen the same, we've got to see a bit more of a different map here. We're now going to jump back into a little bit more story, which I'm excited to do my character roles again, because that was fun.
Not bad at all. Okay, the low jack is off, but remember, disappoint me, and I can switch it on at any time. Expect a phone call from a friend of mine.
I don't know what kind of voice I'm giving him, but apparently it's kind of like a Roger one, isn't it? So, apparently this guy is some kind of mastermind trickster, and I kind of like it. It gives you the vibe that, again, that he is a bad guy, but maybe he's kind of a good guy at the same time. I don't know why he kidnapped us, why we've got an M3 placeholders. It's hard to string this all together because of the fact that, again, it's a very early version of the game. A lot of placeholder stuff, so we don't know the exact one for this. We don't have exact cutscenes. We don't know the actual proper characters. So much stuff like this. But I assume the low jack is pretty much just, it means the cops can track you. It's a tracker, right? And but one thing I noticed, going back to the original one, it mentions Mia put the low jack on. Mia is a character from the original Most Wanted. Not exactly sure why she's back or what, or maybe it's just a different Mia. But if this is the Mia from before, why the hell is she in a different city? Why is she still following the character around? Are they making sweet love together? Is she still a bitch? Is she still like actually a cop? Maybe she's actually trying to bust us. There's so many other options. You know, we should just make her own Most Wanted 2 story if we were totally honest.
You are hotter than hell. Head to the coordinates I just sent you, and I'll let you use my safe house. And if we get you, you can see if we can get you a new ride. I don't want any trouble, so make sure you don't have the cops on you.
Very basic, borderline shite story, right? But that's what Need for Speed was, and I think it would have been pretty nice if we got to see the cutscenes of it. Instead, you get me doing some voice acting. Absolutely pathetic level voice acting, but that doesn't matter. That's all you bloody get. Is the friend at Safe House Mia, or is it someone else that's like the Mia, but now Mia's lead it's all a bit of a loophole, really. And I want to hear you guys' thoughts on what you think, obviously, of the gameplay itself, and then obviously the storyline. How do you think this is positioned? Do you think it's positioned after Most Wanted, after Carbon, after Undercover, after all of those? After The Run, maybe? Like, I know the stories aren't technically linked, but all they're within the same universe, right? The thought process in one game, so for example, the happenings in Undercover, would they have translated across to this game? Would the player have taken part in those? Is this considering that maybe the player in Most Wanted and Carbon was also the player, I was actually Ryan Cooper? There's so many different ways you can connect to all of this, and I want to know how you guys picture it in your head. Personally, I think I'm looking way too far into this. My mind obviously just wants to link absolutely everything that's possible to link, but I personally think that the only proper connection here is that the story is obviously after those games, and that Mia is a character in this game. They maybe got the Mia character back. Maybe they couldn't get her. Maybe that's the whole reason as to why they couldn't make the new game, is because they didn't get Mia. I don't know. But I think that it would have had a close bond to the last game, and the player in this game would have been the player of Most Wanted 05. It's super interesting. It would have been a completely different developer's take on it, different studios' take on it, different like, I don't think any staff members are even the same in the slightest. So how would it have gone? Would it have gone to shite? Would it have made people mad? Maybe it was scrapped because they did not like that it absolutely ruined the name of Most Wanted. I don't know. But in the end, what we got, as you may or may not know, is a thrown-on Burnout Paradise physics game with no content whatsoever. So either way, if it was shite or not, I would have preferred this. But then again, we would have complained really hard and been like, yo, why did you make this? And we wouldn't have known that they could have done the Burnout shite. I'd still take this. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, be sure to smash like. Thanks again, Obscure Gamers, for having and uploading this content and getting this content and these builds, because it lets us see how this game would have been. I know so many of you guys appreciate it, but if you want to see more, as I said, smash like, subscribe if you are new, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Until next time, guys, peace.